All approve? Motion passed. Thank you. We will move to reports, and I'm happy to see in person Ms. Molly Jarvis with Cultural Tourism. Welcome, Molly.
There, now can you hear me? Okay, I was just saying I'm so glad to be here with you all in person and without a mask, and glad everyone is healthy and good to see you. I can have a pretty short report this morning, not a whole lot of updates. For the Cherokee Heritage Center, we have we have our strategic plan in place, and we are now proceeding with master site planning. So this will go through a bid process, but this will tell us what we're going to build, what the Heritage Center will become, and some of the programming. So we'll be working on that master site planning. But I am happy to report that starting Saturday, we'll have the 51st Annual Trail of Tears Art Show open and ready for the public and in virtual and online. So hopefully you can stop by and see that. We've got some amazing pieces in there. Just a couple other updates for Will Rogers' birthplace. We continue to work with the state of Oklahoma and with Cherokee Nation on negotiations, and I just don't have a good timeline to report there, but just know that we do continue to work on that process. And then I just wanted to make note that consistent with the nation and with CMB, we have revised our COVID protocols at our museum locations and are allowing people and employees to be in the facility without a mask. If somebody would like to wear one, we allow that as well. But I'm glad to see that we can relax some of those protocols. And then we're also making plans to open back up, again, consistent with some guidelines we've received from Cherokee Nation, but opening back up to larger groups and seeing some tours come back to us. So that's most of the report, unless there are any questions for me today.
Thank you, Molly. Anyone have questions for Molly? Looks like you're done. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Counselor Austin.
Molly, I understand that there's a mural coming to downtown Claremore that is getting very close, but do you have a more specific timing on that?
Not really specific, but in the notes, it was approved this week, and then it should be installed, my notes just say within the next few weeks.
Okay.
So not super specific, but at least we've gotten a step closer. So we know
When
it
we
will.
get specific, I'd sure like for the whole council to
Absolutely.
be invited to the
Okay.
unveiling.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Molly, if you can stay till the end of this meeting, I need to talk to you about one short item.
Yes, and I'll remember that this time.
I might forget. So thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, next up, we've got Mr. Howard Payton, Cherokee Nation Language Department. CO, and welcome.
Synagog? No, not yet. Okay. Well, it feels kind of like I'm breaking some law or some rule being here without a mask. And some of you guys, I don't know that I've seen your mouth in 2 or 3 years, so I almost feel like I'm doing something wrong here. But I'm glad to be here. It's a nice day, a little chillier than what I had expected, but that's okay. I did want to do a short, talk about the things that we're doing here. You guys know that the language department is busy, and that is good news for our nation for sure. To start off, I think Councilor Coates is online. We are starting a new at-large language program. Councilor Coates has been working with us, has been encouraging the nation for quite some time to do that. We end up with funding. We've opened we've rolled a couple of job descriptions, and that's being rated right now. And so when that comes down the pike, we'll we'll open them up and start hiring. So I want to give a shout out to her because she's been faithful in that for quite some time to encourage the language program to not forget about the at-large citizens when it comes to language. So thank you, council lady. So I did want to make mention that Russell Fillon has finished reading the New Testament in Cherokee, so we've been taping that for quite some time. We have an app that we're working on that will allow people to listen to the New Testament in Cherokee be read. And I think that that's going to be really, really great. I know some of our elders will really like that, although I also know that a lot of them won't be listening to it through an app. So we'll have to make some CDs or something to that degree. It may be that many CDs, but I think they'll like to hear the Bible in Cherokee. So that's been a project that he's been working on for quite some time, and so he's finished that. We're in the process of editing that, and we're really excited about that. Dr. Chris Copes is helping us on a dictionary project, and there's a lot of other folks that's working. We're bringing a lot of language technology and different things together to produce this dictionary. We're trying to record our language the best we can with phonologically and morphologically as far as the individual morphemes of the language, also with sample syntax and with discord. So sample discord of how you would position sentences in a paragraph. So in the process of doing that, the dream is to one day have the capability to have access to the language 50, 60 years from now, when we don't have near the first language speakers or possibly any first language speakers left, that if we have somebody teaching a class, they can push a few buttons, pull that up, and be able to hear a first language speaker say that word, and then not only that, have a sample sentence or syntax in order to know where that word is positioned in a sentence, because it's quite a bit different a lot of times than English. So this is a big project that we're undergoing. It's something that's overdue, something that Durbin had dreamed about doing for years, to expand his dictionary. So we're kind of doing that in his honor, but it's something that we're excited about, and it's going to be a lot of work. There's a lot more into this this particular report. I did want to mention Speaker Services. That team, along with CCO, is knocking a lot of projects out for our first language Cherokee speakers. When this was made, I think we had about 22 that was in the process of being bid. I believe now is up to like 86 bids out for first language speakers, homes, things that was in the problems in their homes. So we also have 43, or at the time of this report, which has changed, we had 43 projects going. So there's a whole team of them. Sammy Eagle is involved in that. Of course, you'll hear Mr. Stretch here in a little while. He's involved in that. And so that is something that we're excited, and it's just to be in these speakers' homes and see how grateful they are. Man, it'll change your life. So if I have a bad day, I run out to the community and see what's going on, and it's truly a joy. So there's more involved here you can read about in the report. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Howard. Yes, Councilor Crittenden.
Speaker Services. All right. Speaker Services, that's fairly new. But pretty much any need in a speaker's household, we can CC you on that email, and just, different needs arise?
So we're going a little
Or are there
further than,
specific needs?
we're going a little further than that. Chief has sent out a memo, telling different departments, to kind of help with us, with the medical, that sort of thing. They've got a team that they're working. We're meeting with them if we have an issue or we have a speaker that's not getting the service, in the hospital or clinic, or maybe there's some sort of translation problem or that sort of thing. So we're advocating in a lot of different areas. But right now, a lot of the speakers are living in the homes that are lacking a lot. And so that's been probably 90% of our job right now, is to try to get their standard of living up higher. The idea is just to be honest, is the right thing to do, Counselor. And also, the better conditions they live in, the longer we'll have them. And right now, we need them as long as we could possibly have them. So that's what we're doing.
Well, and it's so exciting to see that, and from our area and everybody's area. But, we got elected to Adair County, and speakers there's quite a few of them, not enough, of course, but so I'm going to start remembering to CC you in some of those speakers' needs. Now, is it elder speakers primarily, or just speakers?
We're saying just speakers.
Okay.
Now, some of the younger speakers have different issues, right? Some of them are housing, some of them may have a substance abuse problem that we work with, we try to work them with. Now, Counselor Sam's here, he's starting to understand what's all going on, and text messages and that sort of thing.
Well, good. I'm gonna have to remember
Yeah.
that, because, we've all got human services down pat. Where we need to go. We all, Jerry Killer's great, and, but I'm gonna start remembering that, because this speaker services thing was a great idea, and, so
Well, I will tell
appreciate
you,
what you do.
Jerry Killer has been extremely helpful to us, and so hats off to her. And there's a group that's in finance that Shelley McLean is working with. Man, I think she's going to end up with an extra jewel in her crown when she gets up there, because she can make things happen. And I sit and kind of scratch my head, because we're community people, and we have a community heart and that sort of thing. Some of the paperwork items sometimes kind of like, okay, why would we have to do that? And Shelley's like a force to be reckoned with. So
Well,
she
it's
comes
exciting.
beside us. So.
It's exciting, I think they've asked the question of everybody here in the Phoenix, when you're gonna run for this seat, and ask about what are we gonna do about language, and boy, it seems like you guys are on the right track, so appreciate you.
We're working 4 strategies simultaneously: secure language assets, the speakers that, places that the language lives. Another one is document as much as we possibly can while we have them, and secure the documents that's out there. Third is build as many speakers as we possibly can to feel what we're losing. And fourth is make it modern, have access, cartoons, that sort of thing. So all 4 of them, we have teams that's working around the clock trying to figure out how to do them better. So.
Yes, and thank you, Howard. Counselor Teehee, I believe you're next. And Julia will be after that.
Well, welcome and thank you for your report this day. In regards to speaker services, this is a program that is intended to serve Cherokee speakers. Is that right?
That is correct, Counselor. This is exclusive just for Cherokee speakers. Sometimes that gets a little confusing, where we're like, well, they look high blood quantum. It's about whether or not they can speak the language, because we're trying our best to make, make their life quality better for them to be with us as long as possible, to be honest. So.
Okay. Well, that is just a wonderful program. I know that you are continuing to work on that program, expand that program. I know there's a lot of positive action happening in the language program, and I want to thank you and your staff for all the work you do. Wadon,
Well, don't go your leeches, see.
thank you for the time, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Counselor Coates.
Howard, thank you so much for the work that you've done to get some programming for the at-large people, to get some instructors, is what I'm understanding. And I understand from the chief that the proposal that you submitted was pretty extensive. So we really, really are so appreciative of that. It's a difficult thing when someone is at large and you don't necessarily have a community of speakers around you, but I think that our network of organizations, this is one of the functions that they can really play. And I think that it's just going to be really, really gratifying for all of us to begin to, play our role as well in this very, very important initiative of perpetuating our language. And hopefully the day will come in the not too distant future where we will begin to hear this language spoken not only within the jurisdiction, but literally from coast to coast. And that will be very much a result of your efforts on this. And so I really, really applaud you and thank you all for everything you're doing to help bring us into the initiative as well.
Counselor Coates, you've been after us for quite some time about this, and so I appreciate your patience for one, but I appreciate your consistency of wanting stuff for the at-large. I know it's going to be a little different. We'll have a little bit of a learning curve. Please tell your constituents to have patience with us, but we're going that direction to help you. So, well done.
I think that's a great thing, Howard. Thank you all. And thank you, Julia. Counselor Austin.
Yes, thank you. Up in my part of the world, we have more speaker density than maybe in the at-large world, but still speaker density gets real spread out. This past week, I had celebrated the birthday. I had the good fortune to celebrate the birthday with the family for a Cherokee elder who does speak. Mm-hmm. But in visiting with him, he said the challenge is he has nobody to speak to. And I know that's a real challenge for us. And I'm thinking, when we've got people who are taking our language courses, be it casually or more formal, but they are getting they're maybe getting a certification from us saying the fact that they've done this. I would love to see us actually assign them to actually have a once-a-week phone call with an elder who lives where they are not able to interact with other people, to keep that dialogue and keep that elder to where they have somebody to talk to, and that encourage that new learner, but to reach out and start dialogue with them. You've got this gentleman who lives in Owasso, mm-hmm. and he just has nobody to speak with, and so his language is dying from inactivity, and to allow him to keep it alive and to keep his specific experience passed down to a new learner, I think through almost like a mentorship, but because they probably won't physically be in the same place. Possibly we could do it to where it's a distance mentorship program that would give that new curiosity a place to flourish, and that elder a place to share at the same time.
But that's something we've talked about some. And when you go meet someone that's not out, hasn't been able to speak Cherokee, a lot of times they just start crying and say, "I'm lonely," and they want to speak Cherokee. And Councilor Shotpouch, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you talk to their heart. It's English is a head language and Cherokee is a heart language, and so that's something we need to do a little better. Since we have students, they have to have so many contact hours of Cherokee. There needs to be some sort of mentorship. It's happening some organically. Today we have a a 96-year-old speaker that we have in Tulsa, and she was just like, I want to talk. And so we're like, well, not only do we want you to talk, we want to record you. And so one of the things she requested is, hey, I want some wild onions and eggs. And so we have a group that's out right now, picking some wild onions to run up there, talk to her in Cherokee, record her the best we can, and eat some wild onions and eggs with her. And so I'm hoping as COVID starts to kind of slow down, we're able to do this, because now we have a capacity we didn't have a few years ago with our language department, as far as personnel and that sort of thing, that we'll be able to meet the needs more of that. And as time, if we have these speaker meetings that we used to have pre-COVID, if we can start doing that more, and then start assigning elders in the mentorship. Some of them have speakers all around them, and they're like, well, why are you here? They kind of scratch their head. But some of them don't, and they know exactly why we're here. And when they leave, I've had them to say, just stay 30 more minutes. And you get in the car, you just, first little bit, I'm pretty soft-hearted, so I know what's happening with them. And with the other tribes that we work with, there's a few times that I've met the last speaker of a tribe. And that's what that elder's feeling, is the same as the last speaker of a tribe that says, I'm just lonely. Nobody talks to me like.
Oftentimes within their community, they literally are the last speaker.
Yeah,
And because their brothers and sisters are no longer here, and they become the last speaker of their community.
right.
And they don't, because of the place they are in life, they don't interact outside that community much anymore. A lot of elders get to where they can't travel and be around. So that's what we're dealing with, and this could create a new community for them. And I can imagine how excited both parties would be each week when that phone call was
Oh,
supposed to
yeah.
happen.
Absolutely. Great
So,
idea,
thank you.
Counselor. We're on the same page. I like what you're saying.
That's a great idea, Counselor Austin, and thank you, Howard. I know you and your team work continually to help in all ways that you can, and I'm always amazed when I hear your report. It's always something new that you're doing to help our speaker citizens, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, Counselor Malvina.
Howard, I just want to thank you for the work that y'all do with the language. And I was sitting here kind of reminiscing at the time when excited to learn English.
Right.
That was quite some time ago, and it was exciting, and I can imagine why these people feel learning Cherokee language, because I was just, when I learned, English, it was exciting so I can communicate with. And I just thought of an incident. I remember a lady came and my grandma, she didn't understand, a whole lot, but I was the interpreter that day for her. And this lady wanted to borrow some flour, and she said, I want to borrow flour. And, so I go in and tell Grandma, I need G-Lanska doodling, and saying, blooming flowers.
Do you?
And she did have a lot of flowers in the house, and she said, well, tell her to come in and show me which one she wants. And so I turned around and tell the lady, she wants to know, pick what flour you want. She goes, no, I want bacon flour, not a G-Lanska. But, those
saw.
things back then, was funny, but now, it's reversed.
Yeah.
It's exciting to learn Cherokee language, and I'm just so thankful that you're all, what you do, and the community, to get these set up so people can learn how to speak. But I just want to tell her thank you.
Well, Counselor Shotpatch, we have a whole team, and sometimes I feel like the biggest flunky of that team is reporting to you guys, right? But I know that your family, your brothers, they've been so kind to us over the years, and so thank you very much.
All right, I believe, anybody else?
Yeah, Howard, just something for the future, probably already thought about this, but we don't do no youth speaker camps currently, do we? And I'm, working around kids all the time, you bet. I mean, them suckers got a lot of options on entertainment, like we've talked before. A lot of big TVs in their own room, but, you know, working around kids, just, I mean, in the future, just some kind of swag,
Right.
youth. I mean, they walk out of there with nice jackets and, you know, maybe a month-long camp
Right.
where they're immersed in it, the ones that, you know, don't really go to the immersion schools, but where they're just, and it's a thing that gets their dadgum attention, you know, away from this. I'd have been guilty if I could talk to girls when I was that age, all hours of the night, you know, but just a camp. I've thought about that sometime, and I'm sure it's already been thought of, and nothing profound, but what do you think about that?
So this is what's happening, Counselor, is there's speaker hotspots where, like Counselor Austin said, you know, that we have areas that used to have a lot of speakers, and you have one left now because that has shrank. But in your area down there, there's a speaker hotspot, and in her area, there's a speaker hotspot. So we're in the process of building a camp. No, it's not a camp. It's a youth program for the summer youth
Oh, yeah.
program. But it's for kids that came out of speaker households. And what since we've been to a lot of these different houses, you know, on a personal level, I'll tell you more, but some of the things that we've seen, there's something that majorly happens to them kids when they're the generation that lost it. And the problems that they deal with because they don't feel like they're worthy enough. They feel like, you know, all of these different things when we talk to them. So this summer will be the first time. So we're going to start off with 15. We're going to start working with them. They're kids that came from speakers' homes. This summer will be the first time. Now, I'm not saying that we're...
Pretty elite group.
Well, it's going to be interesting because we want to take them back home if COVID allows, and for us to welcome Gadua and say, this is where you're from, and establish some of that pride back in them. But we also want them to see OU. We also want to see, I don't want, you know, I'm sure people watch this. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but there's been some kids that I've seen that I've went home and can't go to sleep because what they're dealing with, and so we've got to. And to be honest, we told Chief, and Chief's like, I'm having a problem sleeping too after that. So it's just going to be we're doing the right thing. We're
Good
trying our
things,
best.
good things. If we care about it, we have things
Yeah.
pop into our brain from time to time,
Yeah,
and so.
and we have an awesome council, and we have awesome chief, and so an awesome
going good.
deputy, and everybody's lining up and helping. So that's great news.
Thank you again. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you for your great report, Howard.
So, well, no, EJ Leach is sim. Come on.
And next up would be Mr. Kevin Stretch, CCO, or Community and Cultural Outreach. Welcome.
Sionagad, Galilega Jigadoha. Yeah, like Howard said, it's great to see everybody in person, and it's been a couple of years, and, you know, I was sitting back there listening to Howard kind of reflecting on that time away, and I have a 11-month-old child now, and I was sitting back there listening to Howard, and I was looking at my hand. I had baby food on my hand. I'm like, that kind of, you know, restructures your priorities especially when you get older. I'm a little bit older, anyway. So, but I digress. You have my report. We've been doing a lot of great things. Working with Speaker Services has been very rewarding. We added last year a couple of new employees with the volunteer program, and that's worked out well. We've worked with Career Services as well to help train those folks in carpentry. And so having these projects to do keeps those folks busy, and it keeps these young trainees, right, apprentices, in that mindset of when you get up every day, you have to go to a job and do a full day's work. And so that's also something we're teaching, that, it doesn't just come with your paycheck, but it comes with experience and dedication. So, and Howard and Sammy, turned us on to a job today for a young Cherokee that is disabled, that we're gonna build a ramp for. So, great things there. The Chalagi Wherever You Are series is online, and I apologize for getting 5 or 6 emails a month from me regarding that, but it has been a very successful series. We try to talk about a variety of things, some of them controversial and some of them not. So, but all of them important to not only Cherokees, Cherokee culture, but also at large citizens as well. So, with that, if you have any questions,
Anyone have questions for Kevin? I just had a quick one. Are you receiving a lot of feedback about the Cherokee Wherever We Are from people that have watched it?
Feedback? Yes, and the feedback has been pretty overwhelmingly positive. Of course, we have some negative because of different points of view, but overwhelmingly it's been positive. And we get, we're at all of them, we're in the 12,000 to 9,000 view range for each one of them, so we get a lot of traction after the fact as well.
That's good. I think it's a great program. Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome.
Anyone, I guess?
Councilor
Oh.
Coates.
Oh, I'm sorry. Counselor Coates?
No, it's okay. Kevin, I wanted to ask if the legislative updates are going to be continuing again. We had Delegate Teehee come in and speak to a community class of mine last week, and she was absolutely fantastic. And I know that the at-large people have always enjoyed those legislative updates and thinking about the things that they can do to, to engage civically. Do you know if those are going to be starting up again, or can I make that request, or?
Yeah, it's, we extend that invitation to them every month, and it's been a busy time period for them. So there's a little bit of lag time right now, and, but they promise to start those up in the future. I will announce that the CCO conference is going to be August the 6th this year. We had some difficulty. We were trying to have it in May and June, and have a hybrid event, but we finally had to, make a decision, and we decided to go ahead and do it fully virtual because we didn't know at the time what the COVID situation was going to be like, and there's a lot of planning that goes for that as far as the speakers go, the presenters, and so we had to go ahead and say we're going to have it all virtually this year. Next year, we'll have Bologna in person, I promise. So,
Anyone else? Any comments? All right, thank you very, oh, I couldn't tell if you were,
Thank you, Kevin. Like, on the ramps and stuff, I mean, that's kind of, might seem small, but boy, you help a lot of people. And so I gotta say thank you for that. I'm sure everybody here agrees there.
great. And someone identified over by the Wilma Mankiller Clinic, one of the local cemeteries, somebody ran off the road and ran through the fence. And so I had my folks go out there and fix the fence yesterday. So trying to make that pretty again. All right? Well,
thank
no.
you. Last, Miss Betty Frog, I believe I saw her out there. Cherokee National Treasures report. Welcome.
Sione God. Everybody's got a report, a copy of this report. The first up was the Saline Courthouse. Al Heron just wrapped his up on the 26th of March, and the new ones are husband and wife pair, Kathy and Perry Van Buskirk. known for baskets and traditional weapons. Their opening was March 29th and will end June 25th. The mentorship program for FY '22 is open to National Treasures to sign up. The program budgets for at least 10 National Treasures to host class sessions for 2 or more students. There are currently 4 treasures committed to teaching class. Posting will be open for 2022 Cherokee National Treasure nominations beginning in April, with the deadline for submissions on June 10th, 2022. As in years past, there will be ads placed in the Cherokee Phoenix, and there will be a link to the nomination form on cherokee.org. The Community and Cultural Outreach Department will assist in getting the word out to the Cherokee community groups. The Cherokee National Treasure Advisory Committee, with the help from the Cherokee Nation Attorney General's Office, with the approval from Chief Hoskins' office, have updated the bylaws for the Cherokee National Treasure nominations to be open to persons who are at least 50 years old or have a major contribution of 20 years, a minimum of 20 years, or a lifetime commitment for perpetuated, at the Cherokee culture. Art show season has begun. We have several national treasures that are representing the Cherokees. Our own Trail of Tears Art Show and Sale, the Heard Museum, Indian Fair and Market in Phoenix, Arizona, and Santa Fe Indian Art Market in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Betty. Anyone have any questions about the National Treasures? Yes, Counselor Teehee.
Are posthumous awards or posthumous nominations for the Cherokee National Treasure Award accepted at this time?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever really accepted any, except for Ms. Wildcat. What was her name? Molly? Annie Wildcat. I think she was the only one that has been nominated. She was nominated by Chief Baker. And Molly, I don't know of any more.
Yeah, I'd have to look back through a lot of the records for the very early, like from the 80s. I'd have to look
Yeah.
back through those nominations and see if there was anyone, but yes, Mrs. Wildcat was the most recent. But I think that by definition and the requirements, maybe the teaching component is such a big requirement, and
Yes.
the current teaching and being in good standing with that would have to look at that for a posthumous nomination.
Yeah, the reason I asked the question was because we recently had the report from Mr. Payton with language. I was thinking about the citizen who passed away, who used to run the Cherokee Bilingual Education Center, Agnes Cowan, who was an extremely strong proponent, taught many of the speakers that are currently working in language revitalization, and was instrumental in bringing literacy to a number of our speakers in Cherokee Nation at a very, very critical time, but doesn't receive a lot of recognition for her efforts. She passed away many years ago. I believe she was also a tribal counselor as well. I like I said, I just think about Agnes Cowan and the legacy of her work, and that was what motivated that question about a posthumous award.
Are we in the time period to accepting awards, or it's getting ready to come up?
It's getting ready to come up.
Yeah, so we're getting ready to open up the nominations. So I think that the committee could certainly
Yeah.
accept a nomination.
We
and
could
just-
accept it, and along with some of the people that are nominated for language.
Okay.
And just go through the process.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate your efforts. And thank you for the time, Chair.
Yes, I want to make a statement regarding that. I am an advisory committee person on that committee, and I believe that I truly believe that our chief would consider those types of things, and it may not necessarily need to be a Cherokee National Treasure nomination, but it could be a special citizen award. We have different kinds of awards during the month of August for homecoming, so I think we could find a place to consider that. So, thank you, ladies. Anyone else have any comments or, all right. Thank you, Betty.
Well,
Okay, we have no old business and no new business. Anyone have announcements regarding culture? If not, our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 26th at 11 a.m. Need a motion? All in favor? We're adjourned.